Hello, this is Gabi from Bluebonnet Crafters, and today I would like to invite you to join me for some yarn talk. Um, I decided to try something a little bit different. Um, this is the time of the year in the fall when all the new scrumptious fall and winter yarns come out, and so a trip to pretty much any yarn store um, barely turns out to be empty when I leave the store, because this is the time, to me it's better than Christmas, to try new yarns. Try new yarns to see how they weave, try new yarns for inspiration, and then for quite some time, actually several years now, I had this vision of making a yarn library. All the yarns that I try, I document it and I write how they weave and with project suggestions, and I block them and weave them on different looms and what have you. And of course, there's never enough time in a whole lifetime to do all this. So a few days ago, I thought, this is like, I just want to share this. So here's a new attempt to just share my findings about new yarns with you. And I hope you just enjoy listening and watching, and maybe get some inspiration, or say, oh yeah, I want to try this yarn, or okay, this is good to see that yarn, it's not for me, or what have you. So I'm glad you are here, that you are watching, and let's get started. What you're looking at is a raid of Hobby Lobby yarns. And actually, when I put the video content together, I decided to add a few staples that I've been using for years. But you also see some new sparkly and soft and shiny yarns here that are brand new for the season. And you see here in the center our little hedgehog. If you have been following our blog, you have seen that I turned this little scrubby into a covered scrubby with a scrubology. Um, and well, it didn't lose its cover, but the original hedgehog already wandered off to my daughter's dorm room. So, and I haven't gotten yet to making another one. So here it is, um, the little hedgehog, and I blame him for my most recent yarn trip. But let me quickly clean up a few things and organize a few things, and then we start with a few staples. And um, honestly, I almost didn't realize it myself until I put everything together, that Hobby Lobby actually has been with the turtles for uh, quite some time. And I'll tell you in a minute what this is all about. Um, So I said we will start with some staples, and these are all staples. And as much fun as it is to sample on all looms, at this point I'm just sampling on the original for the regular, with the regular pin spacing for worsted weight yarns, and then the original fine set loom um, for fingering and sock weight yarns. So sometimes you do get different results on different looms, but for the initial sampling, I'm down to just using these two looms. So let's put them here in the back. Since we already talked about the scrubby yarn, we're now at Scrubology 2.0. This is the one that I used for the hedgehog scrubby. Very fun to work with. It's a little bit stiff, but it weaves up quickly. It's a little bit thin, which makes it easy to fetch, and then the frills make the fabric of it. I have actually used this yarn in the past. Here you see the sunflower scrubby, which has a regular cotton center and then elongated petals to it. And I also, even before then, made this soap sachet, which actually works really well. You put a soap bar right into it and then close it with a string, and it actually, when you wash it, it's actually not too scratchy, but it's really makes the soap do a great job, and it looks pretty, and you can hang it in the shower so that the soap dries up quickly. So it's actually quite an interesting little project that also serves as a great gift idea. So anyhow, these are the Scrubology past projects. You find both of these projects, the soap sachet and the sunflower, on Ravelry. So the very first one, and I need to squeeze this in, the very first yarn that I used on turtles, and here's a little bit of turtle history, it's actually the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Soft Secret. It's a little bit on the thin end, but it's great because it has no stretch, and I love the beautiful shine that it has. And okay, down memory aisle, this is the very first project that I ever made on any turtle. And you've probably, if you have seen some of our videos, you have seen this project. This is the very first project ever done on my turtles, and that was in Soft Secret by Hobby Lobby. So big piece of Hobby Lobby and turtle history here. Another staple is, which one do I start with? I love this yarn. Okay, I love this yarn is, and I think I would call it a family of yarns, because there's such a big variety, and not all yarns are created equal in this family. I love this yarn as a collection of acrylic yarns that just weave up perfectly on the original turtle loom, and I just have a few samples here. I like the spots, and it weaves up like this, and I hope you can see this. Yeah, I think so. And then they have of course they have solids, but I don't have a solid here. I love this yarn. I have chosen this to show you, Candy Stick Stash, because it has these bright neon colors, and it weaves up like this. So it's a printed fabric, which means I have a lot of colors and they change relatively quickly. Here's actually Texas turtle, a larger one, and so with bright neon colors. I love this yarn. Has really, if you are into neon colors, they have some really good neon colors, either in solids or in prints. And then I have chosen, oh yeah, they have a whole bunch of stonewash. This one is the Royal Gorge stonewash variegated, and this one is interesting because it weaves up so these both of these hexagons come from the same skein. Depending on where you are at in the color run, you get different color patterns in your hexagons, and it has this really good stonewash coloring. One thing I like about the I love this yarn, it's a really soft acrylic that you get. Okay, so they also have some twisted, I love this yarn, which weaves up okay. It shifts a little bit excuse me, but I have never had any of the I love this yarn that I did not like at all. And here, just if you want to get ready for Christmas, I love this yarn Metallic. This is the Christmas color, and they have some solids in red, green, and white, and then this variegated, which weaves up like this, and you can combine them. So there are a lot of good options to have a lot of fun. If you are looking for an affordable acrylic yarn in a lot of color variations, this is definitely worth checking it out. All right, the last staple that I want to mention is I love this yarn, cotton. And here I just have a little this is from the Tiny Turtle, and you can see, yeah, it's tiny. I love this cotton. The quality is superb. I love this cotton because, well, I love this cotton because it is color fast. It comes in a broad variety of colors, variegated, everything, or a lot of things you can imagine. It weaves up very prettily, but it's a little bit on the loose side. What I do like to do, let me see, yes, I have it here. I do like to weave it up with 2 layers. It's absolutely worth it. So here, for example, is a little hot pad that I made last year with 2 Texas turtles woven, one in orange and one more in natural colors. So double layers makes a really nice fabric. It's worth it, trust me. So it's a little bit too thin on its own, in my opinion, but because of the excellent quality, I use it in double layer projects very, very successfully. Again, a broad variety of beautiful colors to choose from, so definitely something to consider. All right, let's take a look. Now we come to recent finds. And I'll just start from the top down. Chloe, and this color run is pick of the bunch. When I saw this in the store, look at the colors and look at the sheen of the yarn. I just think this is absolutely beautiful. 70% wool and 30% viscose. Interestingly enough, this is a weight 4, listed as a weight 4, but if you look at it, it's really I thought it was relatively thin. Maybe if you knit it, and you have to knit it loosely, although I think you might get quite a drape for that. So I chose the fine set to weave up the sample, and this is what you get. I really like the outcome. Look at the color run, the beautiful sheen. It is a single spun, so I would not go bigger than this. This is on the original, and you have to weave it a little bit carefully, but the color development in the woven hexagons is just, in my opinion, absolutely stunning. So handle with care, but wow. Here is a new one called Awesome Ombre, which is, this yarn has gazillions of mileage. It's 75% acrylics, 15 nylon, and 10% wool. And let me see where's, just looking for, oh yeah, 435 yards in one skein. This is just, it's a lifetime commitment if you just buy one of those balls. I was curious because I like the mohair, or the fuzzy effect. And this is what it looks up. Again, this is woven on the fine set because it's definitely a fingering weight yarn, woven on the fine set. And this color run is lilac, and this is what you get. The issue with all fuzzy yarns is that they might be sticky, and I think this yarn is actually just right and in between, where it's a little bit sticky but definitely weavable. It's light as a feather and has a beautiful drape. a nice cover. You can see here if I put it on my hand, it creates an absolutely beautiful fabric. A little bit fuzzy, but not too much, so the fuzz does not overwhelm the actual weaving. So very promising. Not sure yet what I'm going to do with it, but this might show up in a project at some point. And next we have a really fuzzy one. I almost did not see this one. It's Lush Loft in the color olive. It's a worsted weight yarn, and it's a chain yarn with fuzziness, and it's 100% nylon. Almost did not try it, but then I was curious, and I'm glad I did. This creates the fuzziest, super softest ever hexagon possible. It's really fun to weave. The fuzziness does not hinder you because it's nylon. It actually weaves back and forth very quickly. You barely have to pack while you are weaving, and it shrinks a little bit. You can see this on my hand. It's a little bit smaller. It shrinks a little bit, but it creates a very dense, slightly stretchy fabric, super soft and super fluffy. So very big surprise for me. Lush Loft, I can highly recommend it if you want to go for such a fabric. Next we have Yarn ID, and I chose the oats for my sampling. Surprisingly, this is 80% acrylics and 20% polyamide. I think the looks are, including the label actually, is kind of more natural looks, which of course with acrylics and polyamide is not the case. However, if for whatever reason you cannot handle wool, this is actually an interesting alternative to consider. Here is the woven sample. So it weaves up beautifully, and they have some very interesting natural colors. So if for whatever reason you cannot handle wool, this might be an interesting alternative to weave on the regular set hexagons. Okay, next, my new favorite yarn, or well, I don't have one, I have bazillions. 90% cotton, 10% polyester. The name is Rapology Use, and this color run is Jewel Dragonfly. This is an interesting yarn. It is cotton, and it has a nylon thread, in a multicolored nylon thread wrapped around it. So it weaves up on the fine set. It's a fingering weight yarn and creates this fabric. It is a little dense fabric because it's cotton, so it's a very cottony fabric but has a good hand to it. Little drape, but just feels perfect. I can see like a table runner or any or placemats or things like that in that. It weaves up beautifully and creates just, I like the little knobs. I'm not sure if you can see that. I like the little knobs. So the effect that you get in the weaving is just gorgeous. I wish they had more colors of this yarn, but definitely highly recommended otherwise. Lifetime yardage per one cake, 524 yards. Highly recommendable. And here is a scrumptious winter yarn, Fireplace Comfort. Super soft, 70% acrylic, 30% wool. It looks like a single spun. It's probably, and it has this color run or you know, this one has the gray and the rose combined. It is a worsted weight, probably a little bit on the higher end, but it weaves up super soft. Here is the hexagon. It has a slight tendency to pill and fuzz, but it creates a dense fabric with beautiful coloring. And you can see the color runs here on the skein are a little bit longer, so you probably get like one in hexagon in pink and then one in gray or in melange mixed. It creates a soft, very pretty fabric with a light sheen. Weaving is, you have to weave it carefully because it's thick and it's single spun, but I think it's worth it. I think it looks beautiful. So this is the Fireplace Comfort. Nice winter yarn. All right, here's kind of an interesting one. This is the Must Be Merino Aran in the khaki color. 50% merino, 25 acrylics, and 25 nylon. This yarn is has multiple strands. I'm not sure if you can see this. So it has multiple strands. So when you weave it, you have to make sure that you can fetch the whole strand, which is easier to do if you use a locker hook. So for this yarn, I do absolutely recommend a locker hook. It has a little bit stretch to it, not too much, but a little bit, just enough that the hexagons will slightly shrink. But if you look at the fabric, I hope you can see this. It creates a fabric that has this very even, or it creates a very even fabric because of all the strands. It's almost like a basket weave with a nice sheen, probably from the acrylics and the nylon, but with 50% merino. I think this is like a very interesting wool or merino blend. Comes in lots of solid colors, so I think it has actually an elegant feel to it. So that's definitely on the list of recommended yarns if you are looking for something in solid colors and elegantly. Okay, let me do two outsiders. This one is Arabella Metallic, and I just bought this skein because it's so beautiful. Look at those colors, and it has this golden sheen to it. It's called Unicorn, very fittingly. This yarn is with it says here 13 stitches for 4 inches, which usually is too thick for the regular set, and indeed it is, but I want to show you anyway. So I made it through one hexagon. Probably it's not on the approved list for the hexagons, but the fabric that it creates is so beautiful. I wanted to show it to you, and I think that this wool or this yarn will work beautifully on some other looms, like the Skipper looms. I think it will work great on Skipper looms. So not for the turtles, but definitely worth considering for other looms. It's 50% acrylics, 49 cotton, and then 1% metallic polyester. All right. Oh, I want to show you this one. Hobby Lobby also sells a few yarns that are not Yarn Bee, and this one is Premier Nordica. And I love all those Nordic self-striping yarns. You get some great effects for weaving. This one is labeled as a light, which would be a DK. But I was just curious because if you look at the strands, it looks much thinner than the typical DK. You can see this here. So I brought one home and just wove up on the fine set. I wove up Hexagon. And oh, the other thing is this one is 100% anti-pilling acrylic. So another acrylic yarn. This is what the Hexagon looks like. I thought this is like, wow, it's fun to weave. It goes fast because it's so smooth. The fabric is very elegant, has some drape to it because it's a thinner fabric. And this is only one, so there will be, some of them will look lilac or variegated. So out of one skein you will get a whole bunch of different patterns. But I think if you are into anti-pilling acrylics for the fine set, this one is worth checking out. There are only a few colors available, but definitely interesting for a scarf or a shawl or a vest or something like that. I think this has big potential. All right, next I want to show, these are two of the newer yarns, and I want to show these together. So this is the Velvet Smooth Sparkle. With the velvet yarns, you actually have to look out because the velvety smooth yarns come in different weights. The sparkly is a weight 4 with 18 stitches to 4 inches, which is perfect for the regular set turtles. And it's 94% polyester and 6% metallic polyester, which brings the sparkle. This is the color purple, and it weaves up absolutely beautifully. It's so much fun to weave. This is the right thickness of a velvety yarn, and the sparkle adds the extra touch of excitement to it. So I'm very thrilled with this yarn, how it weaves up. I do use the locker hook for this, but it's not too critical for this. But it's just, that's one of my favorite yarns for the season, and I'm pretty sure I will make something out of it, a project out of it. One thing, I do not use velvety yarns for baby items because I have yet to find a velvet yarn that does not come apart like this. I'm not sure if you can see this. And I just, I know they are very popular for baby items. I don't think it's a good idea, which does not mean you should not use them. I definitely will use them for throws or pillows. This will be an awesome yarn. I told you a double dip on this one because there's another yarn which is called Forever Plush. This is the color Pewter, 100% polyester, and this is another velvet yarn. It looks like this, but it's made up of 3 very thin threads of velvet spun together. This is actually quite interesting. Here is the hexagon that it creates, again on the regular set loom. It's a little bit hard to weave because the 3 strands come apart easily. Use the locker hook for sure. Also, because of the way it's twisted, it's a little bit stretchy, so the hexagons will shrink a little bit. However, and this is where the double dip comes in, look at those 2 hexagon types together. The velvety sparkle and then the Forever Plush right next to it. So just imagine, and this is what I'm imagining right now, a flower pattern with the velvety smooth sparkle, and then surround it with the Forever Plush. You might see a project in that combo this season. Highly recommend. Be careful with all velvety yarns. It takes a little bit extra time to weave the Forever Plush, but I think it's worth the effort. All right, we're almost done. I have just 2 more quickies. This one is not my favorite one to weave with, but it's perfect for prototyping. It's Mini Maker. It's just 100% acrylic yarn for 99 cents, and it comes in 20 different colors. So if you have an idea and you just want to try out an idea without buying 20 different super big skeins of yarn, consider this. Here's a sample. It weaves up quickly on the regular turtle loom. And basically, I will use this for prototyping if I need multiple colors. It's quick, it's cheap, it's no big commitment. So a nice sampler yarn. Last not least, there is a yarn. It's the Soft and Sleek Lipil fiber, which comes in some interesting, so it has beautiful solids and some interesting sparkles, and then the stone wash right here. The yarn, I'm mentioning it because if you are looking for a Lipil fiber, it's actually an interesting one. I would use it with caution because this yarn has stretch. So when you weave it, you have to weave it very loosely so that your hexagons don't shrink into mini versions. And the fabric is not as soft as what you get from the I Love This yarn. It is still pretty fabric, and the reason why I want to show you here is they have some really interesting and exciting colors. Here, for example, this is the white sparkle, and looking forward to the holidays, I think this is definitely something to consider. If you go combine that with this is red, this one is the chili red. You're definitely having some very pretty holiday colors. All right, this is it, and I don't think I have time to put all my treasures back here, but I will just pile up some things so that the screen is not empty, and invite our little hedgehog back. So that we have, you need a backdrop, here you go, okay, and with our looms. So this was a little bit a Hobby Lobby yarn craziness. Please let me know what you think. Was this useful? Did you enjoy looking at the yarns? Should we do this again? Should we do this with other brands? Is there anything that I could do better? Did I, do you have questions? I would very much appreciate if you leave comments or contact me any way and ask and provide feedback if we should do something like this again, or in a different format, or yeah, this was fun but we don't need it again. So just let me know. That would definitely help me to see where to take it from here. Thank you very much for watching, and have sweet yarn dreams. Bye.